Good morning. How are you? Good. I think you're on mute. Can't hear you. Huh. Interesting. I just saw that you weren't on mute, but now you are on mute. I checked my volume. I can't hear you. Interesting. Hmm.
Are you able to hear me
Oh,
now?
now I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. Okay. I had earphones on. I don't know what happened, why it doesn't work. But anyway, I hope I'm loud enough.
Oh, yes. Very good. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. I'm Stacy. Pleased to meet you.
Pleased to meet you. Good to see you. We'll wait a few minutes till, oh, there's Yolanda. We'll wait a couple more minutes. We have supposedly two more people.
Hi, Professor.
How are you this morning, afternoon?
I'm doing good. How are you this morning?
I'm good. I'm good.
Oh, Ruby.
Hello. Oh.
This guy.
Hi. Yeah. Hello, how are you?
He cannot hear you because I
Oh.
have my headphones. So he can just see your face on the screen.
Very cool.
Oh, we have another person today. That's really good.
Yes, very
Hi,
good.
Yolanda.
This is Stacy.
I'm
Oh, hi
Stacy.
Stacy. How are you?
Finding you.
I'm doing good. Happy to have you in class. It's always been me and Professor.
I'm very late, but anyway, I'm in.
Oh,
Yes,
oh, good.
definitely.
Good. That's really good.
And we'll catch you up. We'll catch.
Yes, please.
Yes. I was thinking about it. I think I'm going to just send you week one, two, three, and four of the discussion notes. That way you have them
Okay.
all in one place with nothing extra. And then you can go
Okay.
and take the quizzes using those notes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'll
I
send,
watched.
yeah,
Hmm?
you watched
No,
what?
no, carry on.
I
Carry
was
on.
just gonna say then you can continue on with week five, the regular where I send all the notes and everything.
Okay, okay. I watched the first class and
Mhm.
then the second class, but I saw it was with a different group um, on last night, and then I also did the first quiz.
Oh, very
I
good.
answered that one, so I just need to know about what was it? The diagnostic essay. Is that basically about yourself?
It can be, yes, it can be about anything that you would
Okay.
like to, and just email that to me whenever you get a chance. Yeah.
Okay. And then the narrative essay is about obviously about yourself, with some experience you have had.
Right, right. Telling a
Okay.
story
Okay.
or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the diagnostic essay is that 500 words as well.
Yes, approximately. It doesn't have to be
Okay.
exact.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect.
Yeah,
Thanks.
very good. Well, I don't have, why am I here? You're good. Oh, all right. Do you know, Yolanda, do you know if Marigold's gonna be here today?
Oh, no, but let me call her now.
Okay.
Yeah, since she's been battling with her health,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not quite sure. I actually was supposed to follow up and ask how she's doing, but uh, not been a good friend. Let me call her.
Okay, that sounds
Marigold.
good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll wait a few more minutes and then we'll get started. So,
All right.
you guys need something to drink or whatever, go ahead and do that.
All right.
Um, Stacy, so what we do is I go over a little bit of the um, like what we're gonna do, and then
Okay.
excuse me, we'll do the class discussion. That's basically um, me explaining some terms and thoughts on what we're supposed to learn, and then I
Okay.
go more into detail about some of the things. So when I talk about like we'll be talking about critical analysis, like analytical writing, and then we'll get all the way down to quantitative research. And so it sounds like stuff that I think that you should already know, but you don't know because I will be explaining it.
Okay.
So it sounds interesting and sometimes difficult at first, but it does go on to, I will go on later in the class to explain it.
Okay,
Yep.
sure.
And if at any time you need me to stop and explain something or you have questions or comments, just let me know.
Okay, I will.
Most of the time, I have stuff on the screen, so I usually shrink everybody down and just have the sharing part up. So if your camera needs to be on or off, it doesn't matter either way.
Okay,
But I
all
do
right.
like your wall, your background. That's pretty neat.
Thank you.
So where are you from?
I'm from South Africa, Cape Town.
Ah, very good.
Yes, yes. So I've done one course or one class so far, which was the biblical worldview.
Oh, how did you like
Yeah,
that?
it was very interesting.
Yeah.
It was good. It was really good.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Good.
this gives you
Glad.
a different perspective. No?
Oh, yes,
So
definitely. Some,
yeah, and then I wasn't going to do anything for this year,
yeah.
and Professor Charmaine,
Yeah.
he said, no, 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 you have to do something. Come on, do the English. So I said, okay. So that's why I joined so late because it wasn't part of my plan.
Right.
Um, but yeah.
I know Dr.
Yes.
Vicky was very excited when she told me. She's like, she's going to be joining you. So that was very good.
Yes, and I'm trying to convince my husband to join as well.
Oh, yes.
And let's see what next week holds if he takes the nudge.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yes. But
Both
then
of,
it's done because I said to him, look, we're already in week 5, so
yeah,
might as well just catch up quickly and
yeah.
then it's then we're done.
And these
Yeah.
are only 10 weeks each, and the 10 weeks
Yes,
goes by so quickly.
it does. It does. It really does.
You can get
So
5 classes in 1 year, and that's amazing.
yeah, it is. And it's so nice because like for myself, I always said when I finished at university I would never study again because
Mm-hmm.
I really don't like it.
Yeah,
But
me either.
but the but the 10 weeks makes it so much easier. It's not like you have to do this whole 4 year thing. You can actually like break it up,
Yeah.
you've got that chance to break it up. So it makes it easier.
Yes, definitely. I agree with that. It's not so
Yeah.
long and extended and so many
Yes, yes.
assignments and papers and
Yeah. Yeah. And which part of the USA are you from?
I am from the Southwest, I'm in Arizona. And so
Okay.
the desert, basically it's
Yes.
hot, hot and
Very
dry.
hot, eh?
Yeah. But
Sure.
we are
Okay.
close to the Pacific Ocean. It's only 6 hours away, so sometimes we take a little trip over there and get near the ocean and swim and get cool.
Oh, that's nice. Six
Yeah.
hours away. So you don't have any oceans closer.
No, no, that's the
Wow.
closest. We have a few lakes here, but
Okay.
they're small and
Mm.
that's only probably 45 minutes away, and that's nice. So
Okay.
the interesting
Okay.
thing is if I was to drive 2 hours north, there's pine
Mm.
trees, there's snow in the winter, there's all sorts of cool weather. And if I was to drive an hour south, it's even more hot than where I am now. So
Oh, wow.
it's just like all of the
Sure.
seasons in one state.
Yes. Sure.
Yeah,
Oh gosh. Okay. Wow.
it's a
Mm.
variety. But
Yes, definitely.
but basically it's a desert with the dirt, the sand, the cactus.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Well,
I've
I
been
am,
to Florida.
yeah.
Um, I think that was the only place and Atlanta. It's the only
Oh, yeah.
places in America I've been to, yeah.
Yes, Florida's
Yeah.
beautiful and humid.
It is. It
Very humid.
is. Yeah.
Atlanta. That's cool. I've been there once.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's nice.
Well, good.
Yes.
Yolanda, is Marigold okay?
She didn't answer my call. I called her. She
Oh,
didn't answer, so I'm not sure. Maybe she's too busy. But if she responds, then I'll let you know what she said because she didn't answer the call. So I'm gonna follow up with a message.
okay. I
Yes.
just worry about her sometimes, so
Mm, yeah.
yeah. All right. Um, all right, well, we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to start out with the class discussion. Um, the I do a general kind of attendance, not really like real attendance as in a college classroom, but I just write it down who's here, who's not. We were supposed to have one, two, three more students as well, but for some reason, I think one of them um, couldn't do it, and then a couple others, I can't reach them. So would have been a much bigger class, but that's okay. I love having just a few people because it makes it more personal.
Yeah.
All right. So everything that I send or show you on the screen, I send to you. So if you take notes, that's fantastic. I know that when I take notes, I learn more. That's just my learning style. Some people do well with listening, some people do well with just reading the notes, but I like to jot notes down. So if you would like to do that, I will try to not to go so fast. Okay, so you should be able to see where it says week 5, class discussion 101. Okay. So like I said, I start with that and go um, on to discuss things that maybe sound more complicated, but then um, after that I'll explain more, kind of. But let's start out with prayer. Um, Dear God, thank you for this new day and for bringing everyone together. Please guide this class with patience, clarity, and understanding. Help each student stay focused, do their best, and treat one another with kindness and respect. Give wisdom to learn new things and strength to keep going when things feel a bit challenging. Bless this time together to make it meaningful. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
One time I had a class, I would say about 6 people, and whew, some of the heated arguments. I'm just like, yeah, so I always throw that in there about, let's talk nicely. But you guys are amazing, so Okay, so this one we're talking about, well, we'll just get into it. So it says a critical analysis essay only focuses on the positive and negative aspects of a work. So when I say critical analysis essay, that is the same thing as what we're doing. It's similar to the analytical essay. So we're not adding another essay in there. We're just um, using similar words. So we're working on the analytical essay, but some of these terms are going to say critical analysis essay. Focuses on positive and negative aspects of work because its main purpose is to evaluate and interpret the piece, not just summarize it. So in other words, the writer examines what works well, like the strengths, and what doesn't, the weaknesses, to form a balanced, thoughtful judgment. Oh, and Stacy, one more thing. It's morning here. It's early morning here. So if I sound like my voice is not quite awake, it's because it's not quite awake. It's not afternoon.
No problem at all.
Sorry.
No
Okay.
problem.
All right. It is not acceptable to use slang and contractions in a critical analysis essay. Actually, in most essays, because we're college students and we're held to a higher standard than let's say junior high or middle school. So um, it's really best to not use slang. Contractions once in a while, yes, understandable. Um, and it's because the writing must maintain a formal and academic tone. Slang and contractions make the language sound um, casual or conversational, which actually weakens the essay's credibility and professionalism. So, academic writing should be clear, precise, and respectful of the subject. So, using formal language helps convey that seriousness and the authority that you have. All right. A critical analysis essay examines and evaluates someone else's work, such as a book, an essay, or an article. Its purpose is to understand how effectively the author communicates ideas and to um, assess the quality of their argument or message. So, by analyzing the author's choices, the like structure, evidence, tone, and style, you determine whether the work succeeds in achieving its purpose and how it affects or impacts the audience. Um, okay, that's pretty much summarizing it. Okay, next one. The focus of a critical analysis should be on the work being analyzed rather than on you or yourself. And that is because the goal is to evaluate the author's ideas and techniques, not to share personal opinions or experiences. Even though we all have them, a critical analysis or analytical essay is meant to be objective and evidence-based, centering on what the creator did, how well they did it, and whether it was effective. So keeping the focus on the work itself helps maintain professionalism and credibility in your analysis. When we did the diagnostic and the narrative essays, that was more self-focused, and this one is more from the author's perspective. So we keep ourselves out of it. We just write the facts and try to get their message across. Okay, the primary is okay, the primary purpose of peer review in the writing process is to provide constructive criticism and suggestions for improvement. It actually allows writers to gain fresh perspectives on their work and identify issues they might have overlooked. Feedback from others helps improve clarity and organization, um, and overall quality, ensuring the final piece is stronger, more polished, and more effective at communicating its message. We talked about peer review last week a little bit, and that seems to be a strength for some people, and some people it makes a little uncomfortable when we share our writing with someone else that is a little bit vulnerable. And so I don't know why my computer makes that noise sometimes. I apologize. Um, and so when we do finally share our papers with our essays with other people, um, it is a risk. I mean, you never know what they're going to suggest back, but that's why it's good to practice sharing your writing. It is good for both parties because sometimes people have a very um, general comment. Oh, it was really good. I really enjoyed that. Um, your writing was well written. I appreciate the fact that you used this and that, and with no helpful, um, constructive criticisms. But some people are also kind of more negative and they only want to pick out the wrong things. And that's hard as well because you've worked so hard on your essay and all you hear back is negative and this wasn't right and you should have done this and I don't understand that. And we don't want that either. We want something that is encouraging yet helpful. So we talk about peer review a lot, and it needs to provide constructive criticism and suggestions. So keeping that in mind, we'll talk more about peer review. Almost every class, different ways of sharing hard information, um, different ways of saying something besides just good job. Um, it's just something that is also a skill that we can use. Editing primarily focuses on improving clarity, coherence, and correctness of the writing. And that's because these elements ensure that the reader can understand the message easily and follow the writer's ideas smoothly by refining word choice, sentence structure, grammar, punctuation. Editing makes the writing more precise, logical, and professional, which strengthens the overall effectiveness of the work. So when we do have peer review or instructor review, there are different things that someone can focus on. Right now, when I get papers in, I'm trying to help with formatting, because the formatting is going to be very valuable when you go into your other classes. We are working on writing as well, but at this current week, we're focusing on formatting, double spaced, where the margins are, how things are centered. We'll be talking about references and so on. So we will also talk about coherence, how it goes along with everything, clarity, making it very clear. It makes your writing stand out from others who have not yet learned how to do that. See. Okay, the benefit of discussing feedback with a peer reviewer is that it helps clarify questions and concerns about the feedback. So when I get someone asking me to look over their paper or their essay, I like to look it over and then send feedback back to them. That is not the end of the conversation. There is plenty of back and forth, conversations that we can have, that I am totally willing to answer questions. I can explain something. There have been times that I have been asked to focus on anything else besides the grammar and the punctuation, because the person knew that that's something that they needed to work on, so they were going to work on that. But then there was the conventions, the formatting, the content, and so we had many back and forth emails, and that was really, to me, that was really helpful, so that I could also focus on one thing at a time. And eventually, it became such an interesting conversation. I learned so much about them. You know, we I love talking to you guys. It's something besides just being teacher and student. There's something about getting to know someone through their writing, because that's their innermost thoughts coming out. And that just, it makes me feel very privileged, and I feel very blessed to be able to do this with you. It's a journey. So just want to let you know that I am here to help, not just to say, yes, that's right, and no, that's wrong. Okay. Okay, here we have one word. I'll be talking about something that goes along with this in just a little bit, but it says quantitative research methods focus on collecting and analyzing numerical data. And that's because it aims to measure variables, um, identify patterns, and test hypotheses using objective or statistical methods. So quantitative reminds me of the word quantity. So it's about numbers. Um, and there's also something called qualitative, and qualitative reminds me of quality, or the quality of something. So there's two words: quantitative, like quantity, it talks about the numbers, analyzing the numbers, and qualitative, like quality of something. When I was going through university, that's the only way I could remember the difference between quantitative and qualitative. I had to somehow find a mnemonic way to remember it, and that seemed to help. And then, yeah, I'll give the definitions here. in just, or not the definitions, but more of an explanation in just a little bit. We also go into it in depth in a couple weeks, because at the very end of the term, week 10, we will be turning in a research paper. And it's not the research paper that you might be thinking that is, 10 pages and 7,000 words. It's not anything like that. So don't worry, you're not going to be having to do something like that. It'll develop and you'll see that it's not that big of a deal, because we're going to do piece by piece. Okay, the following are key criterion for evaluating sources: authority, accuracy, and currency. Not currency as in money, though. Authority confirms the author or publisher is qualified and trustworthy. So they are an authority of what they are speaking about. We don't have someone who just decided to write a paper on something and they know nothing about it. This person is usually someone who others go to when they want to know exactly what the topic is about. There's so many things on the internet that we need to be careful about, that people claim that they're an authority on it, but just by reading the articles, you can tell they really don't know what they're talking about. And that happens. People want to be able to say that they know what they're talking about, but we like to go to the more formal type of articles and information. Accuracy ensures that the information is correct, that it's well supported and free from bias or errors. Like I said, there's so many things on the internet, and when we get sometimes into less formal writing, sometimes there's bias. There's people who say one thing is better than another thing just because, or somebody believes something, but there's nobody or nothing to back it up with. That is not good accuracy. And especially if you see errors, there are some very informal articles on the internet where you can even tell that somebody is not an authority and definitely not being accurate, because there's so many things that need to be corrected in the writing. So stick with the more well-known, well-published kinds of writings. And currency, it checks that the material is recent enough to be relevant to your topic. When we write something, we don't want to get something, a reference or use information from 1996. Of course, there are always exceptions. If we are referencing the Bible, that is, 2,000 years ago, that obviously is timeless. There is no expiration on that. But if we're talking about, let's say, something to do with technology, something from 1996 is going to definitely be out of date. So if you wanted to get something more current, you would try to get something from 2025, even something this year. Make sure it's recent enough. And things, there was an assignment where some some people had to, let's see, find an old writing, some sort of old poem or old speech, and it wasn't for this class, but they had to do some analytical kind of not analytical, but they had to analyze it basically. That is different than having I don't know how to explain this. That is an assignment that chooses an older type of writing, and then the analytical part was making the ideas link or connect to current writings. And so that was an old piece of writing, but the newer part, yeah, I don't know if I'm making it clear or just confusing you. They had to use the old part, but the writing to use to find current writing to support it. There. Okay. I'm going to move on because that was just a lame example. All right. Um, One of the characteristics of qualitative research is to focus on meanings and experiences. And that's because it seeks to understand how people perceive or interpret and make sense of their world rather than relying on numbers. Qualitative research explores thoughts, feelings, and behaviors in depth. So it's quality. They it they yeah, behaviors in depth, providing rich and detailed insights into like human experiences and the reasons behind them. So when I talk about quantitative, it's definitely numbers. Qualitative, it's more touchy-feely kind of things. Um, it's more thoughtful. It's definitely factual, but less relying on numbers. Um, the details that can be included with this um, can definitely give insight to the human experiences. And I like that part. I much prefer working on qualitative papers with qualitative research in it, just because I am less of a fact um, factual writer. I can do that kind of research, and that's fine. And I did statistical methods in school, but I much prefer the ones where I can put that human piece into it. The other stuff to me is not quite as pleasant to write about. It's just facts, and that can get boring, in my opinion. But we all have to learn how to do different things, and I did my piece on that. And it feels like when I'm teaching some of these classes that college was so long ago, yet so recent, because I'm reminded frequently of the struggles that I had trying to figure out what I was supposed to do, how I was supposed to write, what my instructor wanted. And if I don't ever want you to think that you can't approach me and ask, well, what do you mean? You confused me when you said, or what was I supposed to do again? Because that's what I'm here for. And you guys all have a life that you're trying to live with your families, your work, your environment, and now you've um, added on, university or college courses. So that's a lot. There's a lot going on. Please email me, ask me questions. I am a human. I know what it feels like. So don't ever be afraid to do that. All right, I'm going to stop sharing. Sometimes I interrupt myself and talk about other things. So sorry. It just happens. All right. Okay, the next part, let's see. We already went over that. If I ever talk about source evaluation, that was part of the like guidelines for evaluating credibility and relevance that we talked about. Making sure that whatever you are looking at is reliable information. You can kind of tell from the websites that you look at if they are sketchy websites or if they're from like Reddit or BitMe or whatever. That is probably not the websites that you want to do your research from. Um, I'm going to go over a little bit more detail about constructive feedback. If my computer will hurry up. Okay, there we go. Phew. Sometimes the network really struggles here, and so I apologize if it takes a long time sometimes. Okay, so I think I said a little bit of this before, but um, when you are giving feedback to someone about their work, it we always want to say, you know, good job. That was great. That was awesome, wonderful. Um, that's fine to say, but also follow it up with something that is more focused or more specific. Because instead of saying things like "good job" or "this is wrong," people want to know, well, what was good about it? What did I do wrong? I want to know. Be specific and objective. Don't just think of something you didn't like the topic, so you don't like the paper. What about other people? They may have liked the topic. So you have to kind of take yourself out of being giving constructive feedback. You have to think about it from other people's perspectives too. Everything that I read from students, I try to imagine myself being in their shoes, trying to read it from their perspective, and I actually learn a lot. If it's something that I don't necessarily know a lot about or agree with or something like that, that's okay because I'm not reading it for the topic exactly. I'm reading it for them to help them become a better writer. So make sure that when you are helping someone, that you just take yourself out and try to give back. Um, that kind of goes into the next one. Focus on behavior, not personality. Critique the action or work, not the person. And if you give your uh, paper or your essay to someone who's not in the class, it's that's hard for you to say, you know, I want you to look over my work, but be nice. It's not exactly something that they've learned about. They have not taken the class. They don't maybe understand. I don't want you to rip up my paper and tell me that it's the worst thing you've ever read. I want you to read it and give me some suggestions. Some people are nice enough to do that. Some people struggle with that. So if you decide to communicate with some other classmates, just know that we're all working on this, and we're trying to get ideas from other people, try to comment nice things, try to be constructive. And then that goes right into provide actionable solutions. Don't just identify problems, suggest realistic steps for improvement. So let's say that somebody is using the same word over and over and over, and they're not able to get away from that word, and it doesn't make for a very smooth kind of essay. It's always getting stuck on that one word, like, well, let me try to think of an example. Therefore, and then they talk about their topic. Therefore, and they keep using the word therefore. There can be other words that you could suggest to use instead of that word. You can say there's synonyms for the word therefore. How about trying to use this word instead? How about trying to use some of the transition words, the signal words, I believe we went over signal words. Sometimes I get my weeks mixed up because 10 weeks does go by fast, so I think I've already said it or I've not said it. But using the words first, next, last, instead of the same words over and over and over. Next, we're going to do this. Next, we're going to do that. Next, I think that this is like this. So using different words, you could suggest that. Suggest concrete, realistic steps for improvement. If you see something that needs to be corrected, choose your words carefully. If you would not like hearing it said to you, don't say it to someone else, because they might be even more of a person who doesn't want to hear negative words. Sometimes, like I said, sharing our writing with others is very vulnerable, and we would not want someone to rip up our work, and like I said before, be timely, offer feedback soon after the event while details are fresh. I am personally working on this. When I talk about send me emails, email my questions, I can answer emails like general questions and such much faster than I can with essays. Essays I want to give my attention to, and at times I have my busy schedule too. I have a daytime job, and so I am working on being more timely so that details are fresh. So when you are working on yours or editing somebody else's paper, try to be timely. I know we still have, all of our crazy busy schedules, but please forgive me if I am not exactly getting it done the very next day. I really want to be cognizant of your time, and I want to also give valuable feedback. So therein lies the conundrum of trying to get it done in a fast-paced world. Okay, this one is a weird sentence or a weird term. Use the feed forward approach. Rather than just criticizing the past, focus on how to improve in future scenarios. If you find that someone has given you their paper and you have read their papers before and they're still not making a correction, or maybe it's you that got your paper back and someone said, well, I've already told you that you need to work on your paragraphs. That does nobody any good. That doesn't make you feel good inside either. We need to focus on how to improve the writing from there forward. If someone is still needing to make corrections from things that have already been talked about, you can do a gentle reminder, but then go on. Go on and make suggestions about something else that they can work on as well. You could say something like, okay, and don't forget, we need to work on those paragraphs, but I would like to see maybe your references sound good. The formatting maybe needs to be worked on. Remember that we're supposed to indent the second line and something like that. So it's not focusing strictly on what you've already talked about. It's reminding and then gently going on. And hopefully they'll understand. Okay. This one is funny because I teach my students the feedback sandwich. It says the feedback sandwich modified. Use a positive, negative, positive structure, but ensure the negative feedback is specific and helpful, not merely a complaint buried between compliments. I teach my students in my middle school and elementary that we say a compliment first. And then if we have something that we need to say for them to correct, you say that in the middle. We say it with helpful information with it as well. And then at the end, we say something that we liked about the paper or liked about the work. So when I talk to parents also, I do the same thing as that, because if a parent comes to me and we need to discuss something about their child, I always start out with something that I find the child does well. And I was speaking with a parent yesterday, and the child has autism, and they have some things that they need to work on. However, the first thing I said was, I love your child's sense of humor. Your child can make me laugh in times that can be difficult. And so that automatically makes, I would say, the reader or the receiver a little bit less on the defensive. The student makes me, they challenge me to understand where they're coming from, and in turn, it made me see that they have a very wonderful sense of humor. And then we went into what we were there to speak about was the difficulties the student was having. And then after we were all done, we talked about how the student is learning to be social where they were not social before. But because they're learning with their sense of humor, they're building their sense of humor, they're learning to make friends. And so, yes, we talked about difficult things in between. But when we got to the end, the parent was just so thankful because now she understood why her child was doing some of the things that they were doing. That can be transferred over to when we make comments about someone's paper. I really like the way that you did this on your essay. That was really inventive. Don't forget that we're supposed to put citations in the middle, where we have to reference our where we got our information. But overall, your paper was fantastic. I learned something new. Um, I didn't know about such and such. That was really interesting. I appreciate that. And you can say a lot of hard, difficult things by using the feedback sandwich. Find something that you can say a positive thing about. There's always got to be something positive. I like that you used 5 sentences in each paragraph. I mean, something is, if it's got to be as basic as that, I like that you followed the instructions that were given. Um, something. There's got to be something that we can find that's positive. Sometimes it takes a little work, but we can do it. We can help because, you know, everybody that is writing has to be out there and a little bit vulnerable to other people, and it does nobody any good to be negative all the time. Two-way conversation. Invite the recipient to share their perspective, discuss solutions, and ask questions, ensuring it's a dialogue, not a monologue. So, when people share information or essays with me, I want to have dialogue. I don't want to do what I'm doing right now and constantly talk. Um, it doesn't do anybody any good when you're trying to work on an essay. Um, Private setting, what that basically means is we don't want to go to WhatsApp and in a group setting talk about what is wrong with this person's paper. We don't want to share that information. It's between you and the other person. Enough said about that. No embarrassing of other people. Focus on one thing at a time. If you are giving feedback to someone, focus on one doable thing at a time. If there's nothing that they can do about it at the time, don't talk about that. Talk about something that they can fix at the time. If we've not discussed references yet, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the cover page. I liked how the cover page was centered in the middle. That sometimes that's hard to do when you're using a phone or a tablet. You did a good job. Um, well, there we go. I just said good job. You did a really wonderful formatting job um, on that, and I would anyway just go on from there. Do your sandwich. Okay. This one, not so much. Let's see. Handling feedback. You can always ask questions to clarify what the person says. If you don't understand what they're saying, um, don't don't feel like you can't ask. I mean, sometimes it depends on who you've asked to look at your paper, but just try to ask. I don't understand what you meant about this being part of the paper. Ask questions. Okay, gotta find I just thought of another paper or another piece of information to share. Again, I'm going to remind you that we're doing the analytical paper essay, analytical essay. When I say paper, I also mean essay. Analytical essay. It's also called critical analysis. So same Same paper, same essay, different terms. I'm going to add on here. Essay. Critical analysis or analytical essay evaluates work. So a book, a film, an article. We don't really do art in this class, but that would be fun. I think that would be kind of neat. By examining its arguments, techniques, and effectiveness rather than merely summarizing it. Let me go grab the assignment from last week. Okay, so last week's assignment, it's called an analytical essay. However, it's not your usual like diagnostic, narrative, argumentative research kind of essay. This one was answering short questions or short answers to the questions. So it's not going to look the same. It's going to look choppy on your final draft, and that's okay. We'll still try to figure out the formatting if you have questions about that. But some people when they talk about critical analysis essay, that is an actual paper, but an analytical essay is more analyzing something and writing down the answers. Very close together. Critical analysis essay, an in-depth evaluation that investigates how a piece of work communicates its message and whether it does so effectively. So if I can pull up the assignment again from week 4. I believe it was titled Homework. Yes. Okay. I think I'd rather have that one up. Homework. That's week 4, even though we're in week 5. Okay. Write short answers to the following questions. Short answers. Well, how short? What do you want me to put, just 1 or 2 word answers? Do you want me to put sentences? Quite a few things in this course leave the decisions up to you, and this is one of them. If you want to answer the question about theme, what is the central idea or message, and you want to write 4 or 5 sentences about what the theme is, go for it. If you have chosen a piece of work and you want to write down what the theme is and you can literally do it in like 5 words, that's fine too. Whatever you think would answer the question thoroughly. For the character, who are the main characters? What are their motivations or conflicts? If you have chosen a story, there might be quite a few characters. the main characters, the smaller characters. You can describe them all. You can talk about what their main purpose in the story is. You can talk about if they are friends with the character, if they're enemies. Just this one might be a little bit longer than the theme. You can talk about what their purpose is that has to do with the theme. I mean, why is the book or why is the character talking this way? Why are they doing certain things? Well, that's the theme of the story. Does not have to be a long story. It can be a short story. It can be whatever you'd like. If you love reading, go read a big old book. It's fine. If you have very little time, read a short one. Read a short poem. You can even choose little bits of books. If there's a certain chapter in a book that you really, really enjoy reading because you keep going back to it, you read this story over and over again, this chapter always gets to you. You can do it on just a chapter. Okay, setting. When and where does the story take place? How does the setting contribute to the overall meaning? So the setting, I said a little bit more about this last week, but is the story set in a garden? Is the story set at a fair, an amusement park? Is the story set in the middle of the ocean? And how does the setting contribute to the overall meaning? Maybe it is in the middle of the ocean, and this long story talks about how there's struggles because there's no food, there's no clean drinking water. How does this person overcome these struggles? What does the ocean being surrounded by all this water mean in the story? What is the struggle that the character is going through internally? The story might actually say what it is, or you might have to try to analyze it and figure out, well, why is it there? Why can't it be on an island or on, uh, in the middle of their property somewhere on dry land? Well, maybe they needed to have that surrounded by water kind of atmosphere. Anyway, I have lots of examples, but I'm just kind of rambling out there. Plot. What's the sequence of events? How are the conflicts resolved? The overall plot of the story. This happens, this is what happens next, this is what happens after that, and then how does it resolve? How do all of these difficulties or events come to a conclusion? That's kind of what you want to analyze. The plot of the story is, and you tell what's going on and why. And it's like when we were in school and we had to tell what the story was about. That's basically the plot. Sometimes if we want to get a new book, we read a little bit of the cover or the inside cover, the back cover. What's the basic story? That is what you're looking for. Point of view, from whose perspective is the story told? Is it first person? Are they telling the story? Is it third person? Somebody talking about something else? And how does that affect your understanding? Does it make you confused? Is it this person who's speaking, or maybe it's just about that person? You have to list the point of view. Symbolism. Are there any objects, characters, or events that represent deeper meanings? Like I was talking about the person on the boat or raft in the middle of the ocean. Does the water represent something? If there is an object maybe floating in a literal object floating in the water, floating by, is there a different meaning for that? Are the ocean animals some sort of symbol of some problem in the story? What could be the deeper meanings in these things? Tone and mood. What's the overall feeling or atmosphere of the text? You'll get that feeling right away when you start reading. Is it scary? Is it sad? Is it joyful? That one's probably going to be a shorter answer when you write it down. The tone or the mood of the piece of writing was joyful because, and then try to figure out what you would write next. So those are the answers, or those are the questions that you're going to answer. And that is, I wanted to go over that again just to clarify any questions. Then it says, when you're finished, create a title page for your submission like the one that was sent to you showing you how to do an APA title page. I believe the title pages that I've seen so far have been wonderful. I think I sent that to you, Stacy. I'm not sure, but I will double check. The answers can be 1 to 2 word answers, or they can be full sentences. Make sure to include the title of the short story or poem. Yes. So you can do that on the title page. You can write down the title of the short story or poem or excerpt. And don't forget the author. You can also do that in the main writing of the paper. You can start on your title page, you can put, at the top where it says, where you put what kind of paper it is. You can put analytical essay. And then on the second page, you can start writing, well, this story is from such and such a poem book, or you can write the title of the book on there and then the author, however it is that you would like to state what you read, and then continue from there on answering the questions. And submit through the classroom for points. There is, I don't know if I said this, I think I did, but if I repeat myself a lot, it's because I just want to be clear and because I don't know if I've said it to this particular group. But when you submit something through the classroom, for my class, I made it so that if you submit something and you decide you need to fix something or you want to change something, you can delete it and then submit it again. And then you have one more chance to delete it and submit it again. Other classes, I know in particular Dr. Vicky, she has one chance to delete and then resubmit. But because we're an English class, sometimes it's good to have another opportunity to correct errors. So that's why you have 2 opportunities to delete and then resubmit. So you would have a total of 3 chances to submit and 2 chances to delete if you choose to change something. Not many people do, but it is there in case. It's like a backup. kind of feel like I needed to go over that again. That one, the analytical one, is due May 1st. So you have 2 weeks. I believe that's a Friday. We double check. We try to make things due on the Friday after the class, the week. Yes, that's a Friday. So then our class will be on the 2nd. Okay, so you've got all this next week and then all the next week. If you are struggling to find something to analyze or do your analytical essay on, let me know. I'll probably give you something that is vague, but I really don't want to limit your reading. There's so much out there that is interesting. You could do it on something you're familiar with. If you are working on another class, you could even do it on something from that class. You could read part of an assignment or, part of a chapter from a book. So you can actually get 2 things done at once. I've had people do that. I've had people get read famous speeches. I've had people do an analytical essay question answers on news reports. That one was a little more difficult for them or for the assignment, but they pulled it off well. Most people just pick a poem or a short excerpt from a book, and it seems to be the most easy one. Like I said, if you're working on another assignment in another class and you want to do it on that, that could help you study for that other class as well. Um, we already went over that. There is a term that we will be going over next week. I believe it's next week. And we went over part of the words of it today, but you'll recognize it next week. But we went over the CRAPE test. We talked about authority, accuracy, and purpose. The other 2 words that we'll talk about more in depth is currency and relevance. And so that spells out CRAAP. I choose to call it the CRAPE test because I don't want to say the other word. But remember, when you are looking at something to evaluate, remember the authority. Make sure that the author, the publisher, they have expertise in that field. So if you choose to do something from the Bible, which many people have also done, that great authority, that is writing that has lasted through centuries. Accuracy, if you go online, make sure that the things that you are reading are accurate and not just opinions. And like I said, currency. Don't let it be too far in the past. Unless, of course, you're talking the Bible. That's pretty cool. Which is actually current. And I'm just looking over my notes here because I want to make sure that I've gotten everything. Kind of an interesting one here. Let me check really quick. Yeah. Okay. Uh-huh. Stacy?
Sorry, Carla, what does the R stand for?
The R stands for relevance.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
Perfect. Thank you.
currency, not like money currency, but
Yeah.
currency, relevance, authority, accuracy, and purpose.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good question. Okay, quantitative, qualitative. See, this course does a lot of introduction to different things, and then we talk a little bit about it, then we talk more in depth about it, and then we have to move on because classes are so fast. So it just I want to go more into depth, but I have to limit myself sometimes. All right. I am going to ask if anybody has any questions on what's expected, um, when something's due, uh, any other questions. And then I'm going to go over one more thing before we close. So it's a good time to try to think about any questions about anything, anytime. I'm looking something. Yes.
Carla, you'll send all the notes, right, on email, and then also the APA. I don't think I know you sent me an email last week
Mm-hmm.
with I think it was lesson three's notes. But the APA, if you could send that as well with just to see how to do the title page for the analytical essay.
Oh, sure.
I have seen the example you shared on the first class. So yeah, I would just need all of those, every class's notes basically.
Yes, I will
Yeah.
how about I send them like I'll label it week 1 notes and then send all of them.
Okay.
And then week
Yeah.
2
Perfect.
notes. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. That sounds good. That and then it'll be in order and it'll be all in a short area, one group, and you won't have to
Yeah.
go searching for it.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Yes. Um, did I open that up? Let me look. That's funny because I was going to go over the title page again. I remember when computers were so much slower, but we thought they were so fast because we were used to nothing. We were used to having to go to the library. Yes, I just dated myself. And I'm just, now if my computer lags for 2 seconds, I'm calling it slow.
Yeah.
Just, it's interesting. Okay, I have a sample title page shrunk down really small. Okay, let's see if I can get my cursor out. Okay, so this is the one that I will send to you, Stacy, from week 3. And
Okay.
it says narrative essay, but that can change. That's just the title. And it shows, what assignment we're on. But that can be it can be super long. It can be from all the way from one side to the other. It can be 2 lines long. It can be the title plus a subtitle. But we have it to where can you guys see my cursor? If I move my cursor around?
Yes, we can.
Oh, yeah. Okay, good. So it's kind of in the middle of the whole paper, kind of from the top to the bottom, side to side. All of the information is smack dab in the middle. It's also centered. If I was to go straight down, um, it shows that each line is centered. And I did that by um, going, if you have Word, some people don't, but if you have Word, you can go up here to where it says center or Control E. I don't use Control E. I'm old school. I just go up here and find what I want. And that makes everything centered. So I would highlight what I want to have centered, and oh, that went over there to the left side. Nope, I don't want it on the left side. I don't want it on the right side. I want it centered. And that helps with everything being even. Now, if you were to not have Word, it's a little bit harder to do, but try to make it in the center. Sometimes you'll have to try a few different times, excuse me, to make student name here, that would be your name, over this and have the same amount of space from on this side as this side if you compare it to the other lines. There's also an extra space between the title and where your name goes. So if I have it like this, you'll need to hit enter or return one more time to put in an extra space. Even if I've got a second subtitle, I still need a space between whatever the title is and your name. So then after that, you would put your college or university name right there. Below that, you put the title of or the name of the course that you're taking, whether it's biblical priorities or I'm not sure what the math class is called. This one's English Composition 101. You would put that there. Then you would put your professor's name, whoever you have, and then you would put the date. It does not matter what format the date is in. It can, it should probably be the correct date. So I'm just going to put 2026 on there. Just because it's bothering me now. I'm going to leave it at April 1st though. It doesn't matter if you put the day first and then the month and then the year, as long as you have the date down there, because that is not one of the big things. It's not a big deal. It's just as long as you have the date. And the only other thing, if you wish to try it now, or we're going to get more into page numbers later, is you could put a page number and a running head on here, but I kind of don't want to overwhelm with formatting right now. But for those of you who do already feel comfortable with this, we have running heads on our papers And that's in case, well, the only thing I can explain it is if I printed out everybody's assignments and I have, let's say I've got nine printouts of everybody's papers, and I'm walking across campus and I trip and fall and all my papers scatter everywhere. How am I going to know whose paper goes with what other paper, goes with what title? Because the only place that your name is on is the front page. So the way that I know whose paper goes with what is by creating a running head. So what I just did was I went to the top of the page and I double, not where it's blinking, but where my cursor is. I'm going to double click twice fast. And I'm going to try it again. And it should pop up where it says header. I'm going to put a little 1 or 2 words of whatever the title of my paper is. And this happens to say narrative essay, so I'm going to write narrative essay. Does not have to be capitalized on the second word. Then I'm going to, let's see, insert a page number. So I'm going over here where it says page number. That brings down a box where it says top of page, bottom of page, page margins, current position. We definitely want it at the top of the page. And I want it to be on the right-hand corner. So I will click that. That just got rid of my running head too. Sometimes I have to figure this out. And if it doesn't want to do it, oh, come on. Then I figure out another way to do it. For example, oh, geez. Oh, I know, I'll do back. No, it says no, you're not to be doing this today. It doesn't want me to do it. Oh, it's frozen. My screen froze. Oh, that's so special. Now it's coming back. Okay, I clicked a lot. Now I have to wait for it to stop. And yeah. Okay, maybe I'm not supposed to be doing that today. But basically, you would have the title over here, you'd have the page number over here. If it doesn't work and it's giving you troubles, I do put the title over here and then the page number a little lower out of the header because sometimes it just does not want to work. And some people are better at it than I am. I'm going to now it's caught up with me. All right. So I would put the title of the paper. The number really should be up here, but I'm not going to mess with it right now because I just, it's frustrating me. And I'll learn to fix it later. I'll see if I can explain it more thoroughly and better the next time. So, all right. Yes, but mainly what I wanted to show you is the centering here. If you're working with a phone or a tablet or some other program other than Word, this can get a little bit more tricky. And what I've done is have people send it to me, then I format it for them and send it back. And then you can see where on the phone or the tablet or whatever it should be. It might look weird, but it'll show you where the indents should be, where the margin should be, and then you can always send it back to me, and I'll let you know if it is in the right place, just to make it look good when it's submitted to your professors. And I haven't said it today, but I'm going to say it again. I said it before. If you are in other classes and you're unsure of APA format, email me. I will help you with that. I will show you where you can get the information. I will be happy to take a look at your papers, make sure that the format is correct so that your professors know that, you do in fact know how to do it. And the content, though, the content is up to you. I can't give advice on the content. I can give advice on the format or little things about grammar or things like that, but content is totally up to you. But I am available even if you're not in this class anymore. So I just want to let you know that that's another resource you have available.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. I've only had 2 people take me up on it so far, but I felt very honored to be able to help. And I think I think that's all that we're going to do today. That's enough. Anyway, I will concentrate on sending out the notes to everyone, and I will have a link uploaded soon. Could be later today. I have a son that has a baseball game coming up here, so I'll be leaving in a little while to go do that. But I appreciate everyone. I'm glad that I was able to clear up any questions. And if you ever have any questions and we're not here, feel free to email. And
All right, thank you. Thank you, Professor Carla. It was a good lesson today.
you are very, very welcome. I hope that everybody has a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you. And bye to Stacy.
Thank you so much. Bye, ladies.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much,
Bye.
Professor Carla.
Thank you.
Bye.